Hey, oh my God, my baby's here. So it's that time again. Um, Time for me to do a new video. As you can see, I got a new camera finally. I actually got a new camera um, a while ago, but I'm just now able to shoot a video, and I just wanted to say sorry without doing too much babbling because I was supposed to do so many updates. I think my last update was like around 36 to 37 weeks. So it's going to be my labor and delivery story. I made it up to 39 weeks, and I actually decided to take a maternity leave on a Friday. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to take the maternity leave even though I feel fine. I felt like I could have worked for longer, but I just decided, look, I'm 39 weeks. Let me just try to take it easy. I was going to spend a little bit more time at home just trying to get things together, putting away stuff from the baby shower and everything. Oh my gosh, she hates when you touch her. Anyways, follow my daughter's page on Instagram. We don't have any pictures up yet, but we will. Once I get 100 subscribers, then I'll start uploading more stuff. So it's Giselle Love Williams is her name. It's Gizelle. Middle name is Love, last name Williams. All one word together on Instagram. So, come Sunday, well, I guess Saturday at midnight, which technically was Sunday, I was woken up out of my sleep by some contractions. And then my husband was joking around like, oh my God, is it time? Is it time? Because he jokes around from time to time when I get an ache or a pain. And I'm like, nah, it's cool. Just go back to sleep. So then again, I got woken up out of my sleep. And then, so in our class, we learned to do a few things like eating, trying to go back to sleep, taking a shower, and doing things to see like if you are in preterm or fake labor or whatever or not. So anyways, I tried to do some of those things. I wasn't able to do it. The contractions started coming, and based on the research we did, once you have contractions start coming like every 10 minutes, then you know it's pretty active. So we got to that point where the contractions start getting really bad. We called our doula, and she said to make sure, I forgot, was it 311 or 511? I'm so sorry, my brain is not with me, but I know the contractions needed to be 1 minute long, and that was the thing that we were waiting for. So my husband got a contraction timer, downloaded one on his phone, and we were timing the contractions because they were supposed to last for a minute long, and I think they were supposed to be like 1 minute apart, and I forgot what the 5 was for. I don't know. Excuse me. Anyhow, so I'm laboring at home, walking around the house. I get my bouncy ball out. I put my towel over it. I'm bouncing on that. My husband says, well, why don't you just get in the bathtub? I'm like, okay, cool, because mind you, I'm having a water birth. So I'm all like, I guess it wouldn't hurt to get in the water now, even though I was just waiting to go to the hospital to get in the water. So he runs some water for me. I get in the water, and oh my God, the contractions let up. Like, the water helped so much. I feel like everybody should be able to labor inside of the water. So, at the same time, I have my music playing, my old school, my OD spaghettis, and then I had my oil diffuser going, and I think I had eucalyptus and lavender oil in there, which was so nice. And you know, my contractions are going, and so I start getting like really bad back pains at this point. So I'm like, okay, let me get out. So I get out of the bathtub, I sit on my bouncy ball again, and then from my bouncy ball I get on the bed. I have a brown towel on the bouncy ball, and my husband is like, oh my God, it's blood on there, your mucus plug just popped. So I'm like, oh my God, like, it's getting real. So then I get back in the bathtub for a little while, and I start having like back contractions, like or back labor. My lower back was hurting so bad, and so every time I had a contraction, my husband would literally come in the bathroom. Well, we have like a master bathroom like right next to the room. So we'll go in there, and every time I had a contraction, he would rub my back a certain way to really help me relieve the pressure. Mind you, he's kneeling down, and at this point I had the shower. So the shower is coming down on him, and I'm contracting. He's having to rub my back. The contraction is over, and then he has to get up, dry his hands off, and then stop the contraction timer. So every time this is happening, he's like starting the contraction timer, rubbing my back, getting up, washing himself, wiping himself off, stopping the contraction timer, and then between there, he was like giving me coconut water and food and keeping me hydrated and fed, which is like so cool. And real quick, I have to give a shout out to my husband because he was so awesome through this whole process. I don't know how people give birth alone. Even when you're at the hospital, I know you have nurses and stuff, but it's nothing like having someone that you love there. And then at that point, I got back out of the tub, and then I just started like walking around the house or whatever. My pain started getting really bad, so I was like, at one point I had a contraction. I was like, mama, mom, mommy. And then so at that point, then my mom came, and then I was super excited to have her here. She was really great just to have for support. I mean, just talking me through things, and she was like rubbing my feet the whole time, which was really cool. And so then after that, I'm laying on the bed, and my water breaks. So at this point, after my water breaks, we're on the phone. Well, my husband is like texting the doula and saying like, oh, don't go to the hospital yet, because if you do go, they're going to keep you, and you want to make sure like your contractions are like far enough together, not apart, close together, so that I'm actually like dilated enough so I'm not like ending up being in the hospital for like super long time or whatever. So anyhow, the next thing I know, I'm laying in the bed. Yeah. Oh, did I say that already? My brain. And yeah, my water breaks. So I'm like, oh my God, my freaking water broke. I'm like, if it wasn't real before, this just got real. So I'm laboring. Then the next thing I know, my husband was like, oh my God, babe, the sun is coming up. And I'm like, I look outside, I'm like, the freaking sun is coming up. I cannot believe I was laboring like that whole entire time. So by this time, my pains are getting really bad. So I had him call the doula, and I was like crying to her, and I'm like, look, my pains are really bad. I don't know if I can do this. I'm ready to go to the hospital. And then she just kept asking, how far apart were the contractions? So the contractions were not 1 minute long yet. So I don't know, I was like crawling on the floor and I was crying. I'm not going to lie, ladies, if you see this video, having a natural birth is great, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was hurting very bad, where I'm crying on the floor, and I'm telling my husband, just take me down the street to any hospital. Take me there. Give me an epidural, not now, but right now, because I cannot do this. And then I kept screaming, and I guess my doula was telling him to tell me to not scream because it's hurting the baby. I'm like, hurting the baby? The baby hurted me. Like, I was trying not to scream, but the pain was hurting so bad. So my husband, being the person who he is, and me being who I am, we already had everything packed, and then he already had everything in the car. So we're just getting like our last minute little stuff, chargers, phones, or whatever, getting in the car. So I walk outside, and I see a police officer, like his car outside. I'm like, oh my God, the neighbors called the cops. They probably think my husband is beating on me or something because I'm screaming so loud. They probably don't know I'm in labor. But it was just like, I don't know. My mom was like, oh, well, if that is a police officer and he out here for us, I'm going to ask him for a police escort. So I also have to mention that my husband had my contraction. When my contraction came, he had it down to a science. I think my contractions, he said, got up to 45 seconds long. So, but at one point they were like 30 seconds. So he told me when I was breaking, he was like, the first 10 seconds is going to be the buildup. The second 10 seconds is going to be the worst part. And then the last 10 seconds is going to be coming down. So I was like, oh my God, I feel the contraction coming. And he was like, okay, the first 10 seconds is going to be climbing up. So your pain's going to get worse. So I would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10. And then the second 10 seconds, I'll be like, ah, he's like, this is the worst pain. Come on, count down. I'll be like 10, 9. And then he was like 8, 7. And I was like 6. And he was like 5. And then he was like, breathe in. And he's like 4. And we're like blowing hot air on each other. That was 3, 2, 1. All right, the worst is over. This is the last 10 seconds. It's the calm down. It's the calm down. So I don't know. He was just like going through it with me. He was counting with me. He was breathing with me. In fact, at one point, we were both lying in the bed together. And I know I heard like in our classes, my doula was saying, yeah, you sleep between your contractions. And in my head, I was thinking, there's no way you can sleep through that type of pain. Oh, sweetheart, let me tell you, you sleep. Because between the contractions, I was sleeping and I literally got woken up out of my sleep from a pain. And so I woke up and was like, ah, and then I felt my husband like jump behind me or whatever because he was sleeping. And I guess I startled him too from me screaming. So anyhow, he was a trooper. He was there for me the whole time. I mean, I literally could not have done this without him. He just like kept me calm. He did everything I wanted and more. He was so educated. He remembered everything from the class. I remembered nothing really. Except for some of the signs earlier on when I was like calm. But then when I was having contractions and I was in pain, I was just like, oh my God, I can't do this. And then the Pandora radio kept cutting off because it was like, are you still listening? I'm like, yeah, I'm still listening. Don't you guys hate when Pandora does that? Are you still listening? If I wasn't listening, I would have cut it off. Hello? Anyways. So we get in the car, we're driving to the hospital, and honestly, this was the part that I was most afraid of because I was thinking, oh my God, it's going to be a long ride. I don't know what to do. So I got in the car, we started driving. Mind you, my water broke, so I had on one of those like grandma pads that went from your belly button all the way up to the middle of your back. And I had my granny panties on and everything, so I'm ready. I'm putting my I'm ready. I have a towel down. My husband put the towel down in the car and everything. So we're driving to the hospital. I am praying to the Lord Jesus like I have never, ever prayed before. I'm like, God, I need you right now. Please give me the strength. I know my body was made for this. I know pain, comes with childbearing, but please let it be as painless as possible. And honestly, the ride was not as bad as I thought because my contractions were so bad that I was sleeping so deep between them, so that was pretty cool. And plus, we do live in LA, so the traffic is normally really bad, but it was a Sunday morning and there was no traffic. Everybody had already partied really hard for Saturday night, so come Sunday morning, nobody was on the freeway. It didn't take us very long to get to the hospital at all. We get to the hospital, and mind you, right when we get there, my mom hops out. My husband is trying to help me get out. My mom is like trying to get a wheelchair. I guess they don't have a wheelchair down there. I find out later. They're waiting to get a wheelchair. So I was waiting so long that I had to get out of the car because with the car being still, I don't know. My contractions were getting so bad. I get out the car and I have to sit on this little like plant thing, and there's like staff walking by. You can tell they're on break or getting off or there's a shift change, and they're just looking at me smiling like, ha, oh, I remember when I had a baby. Oh, she's in labor. Ha ha ha. I'm like, what the hell is so funny? Because I don't see anything funny. Like, I'm in labor. So finally this lady walks by and she's a nurse and she's like, sweetheart, everything is going to be fine. Do you need anything? And I'm like, my mom is trying to give me a wheelchair. I don't know what's going on. And so she was very helpful. And you can tell she had her purse and stuff and she was on her way out the door. But she still helped me, so I appreciated that. So finally, somebody came down. Mind you, while I'm waiting for them, I just feel a big gush coming down my leg twice. Once and then another time. And I'm like, oh my God. And you literally just see like all this stuff like coming down. Mind you, when I got out the car, my dress was already super wet. So I'm super embarrassed. But thank God it was like, I don't know, it was black, so the type of material it was too is like you couldn't really see, but it felt like to me that everybody can tell that I peed on myself, like a big pee. But I guess I was pregnant, so everybody knew it was my water. Anyways, I get on the wheelchair and the guy takes me up. I guess my mom and my husband had to check in, which really pissed me off. Because I did the hospital tour and they didn't tell me that, but that's okay. I'm going to do a whole nother video on California hospital. It was a lot of good things, a lot of bad things that happened. Anyways, I get up, and as soon as I get off the elevator, mind you guys, I said I was not going to be that person that's like, oh my God, I'm so drama filled. I am so drama filled. Oh, whatever. That's not going to be me. I'm not going to be screaming. I don't even need a wheelchair. I'm going to walk in the hospital. When I have a contraction, I'm going to stop and I'm going to sway and I'm going to moan and just breathe it out and I'm going to keep walking. So they wheel me out. We get off the elevator on the labor and delivery floor. As soon as I get out, The guy's wheeling me down the hallway, and straight ahead, I can see the nurse's station. I'm like, this is me screaming out loud because I don't want to scream because my baby's right here. So I was all like, oh my God, my back, my back, my back. My back, somebody please help me, my back. So we finally get all the way down what seems to be the longest hallway ever to the nurse's station, and they're like asking me, I don't know, like, how many weeks are you? I'm like 39. They're like, okay, take her into the other room. As soon as they take me in the other room, they're trying to get me from the wheelchair to the bed, and I'm all like, wait a minute, don't try to make me move, do not try to make me move. I am having a contraction, I am in pain, my back, my back, my back. So then after my contraction was over, as I'm getting on the bed, I'm like, I am so sorry. I'm normally not like this. I'm not a drama queen. I'm so sorry. I am just in so much pain. I'm a really nice person. So then I get on the bed, and then I have another contraction out, and she's all like trying to push me down, I guess. And I'm like, no, why are you trying to push me down? I'm not comfortable like that. I'm not comfortable like that. This is me yelling. And then she's like, oh, honey, no, she didn't say honey. She's all like, but I need to check you. I need to check you. And I'm like, wait a minute, I cannot do anything. Wait until my contraction's over. So my contraction's over. As I'm laying down so she can check me, I'm like, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm normally not like this. I'm a really nice person. I'm sorry. I wasn't being really mean, but I was yelling just because, I don't know, it was like a high stress time. So anyways, I lay down. She checks me. The next thing I know, she pulls her glove off, and it's like a bunch of like blood and stuff on it. She throws it on the counter, and she's like, Colton, call the doctor right now. Get the doctor over here right now. She's supposed to have a midwife, but there's only one midwife, and they're not available, so call the doctor now. This baby is coming out. The next thing I know, the bed is moving. I didn't even know the bed had wheels, so I'm just like trying to like hold on for my dear life. And then the next thing I know, I'm going down the hallway, and for some reason I see my husband behind me in the room that I just came from. So this is me yelling down the hallway. I'm like, babe, I can't do it without you. They're taking me to another room to have the baby. The baby's coming. The baby's coming. So he starts running down the hallway towards me. And then the doctor's like, no, we cannot do anything without her medical records. So you know that big packet they make you take everywhere with you. So he's running back to get the medical records. And then he's running back towards me. I'm like, babe, hurry up. I cannot do this without you. The baby's coming. Right, so we get into the room, and so as soon as we get in the room, my contraction was over. So I'm just like, oh my God, guys, tell me what to do. So they're like, hurry up, get on the other bed. So I climb to the other bed, and in the middle of me trying to put the hospital gown on, I get another contraction. I'm like, oh my God, my back, and they're trying to like, they're like pulling the stirrups up, and then pulling the top part of the bed down, and putting the pads out, and putting on their like, not their scrubs, but their extra, like, you know, stuff, gloves and hats and masks and stuff that they put on or whatnot. And they're trying to make me lay down. I'm like, no, I cannot lay down. I cannot get on my back. I cannot get on my back. I cannot, babe. I'm looking at my husband because he's like right there. So then they're like, okay, that's fine. So I turn over, and basically I'm on all fours, and like this is the flat bed, and then this is the part that's up, right? Like where you put the pillow. My head was right here in my arms, and then my back was right here, my butt was right here, my knees are right here, and then my legs are right there, and that's the flat part of the bed. I hope that makes sense. Anyhow, so I was on all fours, and they told me they were trying to put the monitor on and get the baby's heartbeat. So I don't know, I guess they couldn't or something. And then the next thing I know, they said, look, you have to push. So they said, when you get another contraction, just push. So I pushed. And they were like, you're not pushing the right way. And I'm like, well, I feel like I'm pushing the right way. So there was this lady who was next to me, and she was so nice. Mind you, the whole time I'm having contraction, I'm doing the same thing, screaming at the top of my lungs. And then afterwards, when my contraction over, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm grabbing the nurses and like squeezing their hands and grabbing their arms. Not anything too violent. I wasn't being violent or anything, but I was just like, oh my God. But I was like, I am so sorry. They were like, oh, it's fine. But this lady, she was so like, look, the next contraction you have, put your chin to your chest and bear down and push like you have to poo. And I was like, okay, I got it. So the next contraction came, and I did that. And when her head hit down there, I was like, I heard Jermaine say, I see her hair. I see her hair. Oh my God, I see her hair. She has a lot of hair. But when I felt that, I think I just sucked it back in because I was like, oh my God. I was like Jocelyn Hernandez. I don't know if you guys had seen her special, but she was laying on the bed and she was like, I cannot do this. That was me. Like, seriously, I was just thinking like, I cannot do this. That just was like, I don't know. It just hurted. It just hurted. So the lady, that same sweet lady, was next to me, and she was like, listen, I know you're in a lot of pain. I know your back hurts. I understand that. But if you want this pain to be gone, I need you to push the baby out. In the next push, you can get this baby out. When you push and you feel that burning sensation, and it's just like, okay, it's not a sensation, it just burns. Go ahead. It's okay, mommy. Go ahead and keep pushing and push past the pain, and the baby will be out. Not only will the baby will be out, but you will get instant relief. So I'm like, okay, cool. So the next contraction came. I put my chin to my chest. I pushed the baby out. I felt the burning. I kept pushing. I don't even think that it was a point where her head was out and her body wasn't. I think I just like pushed her out. Because I didn't hear them say, you know how sometimes they'll say when the head is out, okay, wait, don't push. I didn't hear them say that. I just pushed the baby out. So anyways, when I was pushing the baby out, my knees went from, remember, this is the bed, and that's the pillow part where your pillow would go. My knees went from being like right here to the top part where the pillow would go. So I'm almost off the bed. My husband is trying to pull me down, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm not gonna lie, guys, that part hurted. And so after that, the baby came out, and I just heard one doctor talking about just catch the baby, because mind you, my butt was like all the way up here. All the doctors are like over here, and there's like tons of people in the room. It's just like crazy. I don't know. It was just like crazy. So after the baby came out, I just laid there like I was dead or something. And then I heard the baby crying, so I'm all like, okay, the baby is good. I laid there, guys. I probably laid there for a good like 2 minutes straight, and I literally felt blood dripping down my legs and everything. But I was like, I couldn't even turn around. I was so tired. I had 0 drugs, 0 medication, no IV, nothing. We got to the hospital at 7:44 a.m. The baby was born at 8 o'clock a.m. on the dot. She was 6 pounds, 8 ounces, and she was 19.5 inches long, and she was born at 8 a.m. on the dot. So that's my labor and delivery story. I guess if I have anything else to say, I may make a part 2, but this video is super long, longer than I wanted it to be. But I just wanted to give a shout out to my mom and to my husband, and I'm so happy my baby is here. Giselle Love, look, she got a little heart on her booty. I love when they have hearts on their booties, or little stuff on their little booties. But anyways, I'm so excited. Again, follow my baby girl, GIZELLELOVEWILLIAMS, Giselle Love Williams at Instagram. Love you guys.